Almost 39 million Americans will be traveling this holiday weekend, but some have no business going anywhere. They're carrying contagious diseases, and you could end up sitting next to them. So the federal government is taking new steps at airports to protect public health. A flight from Malaysia and China arriving in Los Angeles, with public health officers at the gate, quickly glancing at every passenger.
We're just ideally looking for just visible signs of infection.
Other officers working with Customs examine the medical records of immigrants.
Our mission here is to prevent importation of communicable diseases.
And it's a tough mission considering the number of potentially contagious people they're up against. Up to 28,000 passengers arrive every day at the Bradley International Terminal here at LAX. Most of them are foreign tourists or returning Americans, but others are immigrants, and federal officers give them a much closer look because they come from countries where there is active tuberculosis, cholera, and influenza.
We do know that there's certain endemic diseases in some countries, and so certainly we keep a more vigilant, lookout for those.
The CDC has the experts, but most of the frontline health defense lies with officers of U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
Okay, go pick up your luggage.
We usually ask them, how was your trip? And they tell you, oh, I've been sick, I've been running a fever, and then that gives you an alarm. I'm like, oh, really? How long have you had a fever? And they start telling you how bad the trip was, and maybe they got some kind of illness over there.
That's enough to raise the alarm and bring in the CDC.
The worst case scenario, it would be a quarantine in isolation.
Other customs officers search for potential public health dangers, such as contraband food and drugs.
Like new immigrants right here? Yeah, yes.
But we saw immigrants getting the greatest health scrutiny. First, trained senior customs officers unseal their health records, signed by a doctor in their home country. Anything unusual is referred to the CDC. And what Officer Perry Camagon sees most often are inactive cases of tuberculosis.
This particular one's a tuberculosis case.
So this woman has tuberculosis?
That's correct, but it's inactive TB.
To provide further proof their TB is inactive, immigrants carry their x-rays and must get follow-up exams.
Most of our cases coming from China, Philippines, and Vietnam.
The CDC and Customs say they learned a lot from the deadly SARS epidemic in China 4 years ago, spread fast by airline passengers. Also from the international scare earlier this year when Andrew Speaker, the lawyer from Georgia, slipped through the cracks with a drug-resistant form of tuberculosis. So, are federal health enforcers ready now?
So I think that that we're prepared. We're prepared. Are we foolproof? Probably not, but we're prepared.
Well, okay, so how do you know if you're too sick to travel? Here's the CDC's simple guide. Don't fly if you feel so bad that you would have called in sick to work or spent the day in bed.
Well, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes sense. If you're too sick to travel, you know that confined compartment in the aircraft is going to make other people sick. But if you have a serious disease, if you're coming from another country, they have some safeguards in place so that when you come here, they can take care of you when you're here.
Okay, so check it out on both sides.
On both ends, yeah.
All right.